What's up, guys? Welcome to the Put Me In Coach podcast,
where we go beyond the headlines and deep dive everything NFL.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Andy.
Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much.
The Packers win the North. I think a lot of people, Minnesota, Detroit, Minnesota new quarterback, right? Detroit, 2 new coordinators. We don't know if Ben Johnson can coach. The Packers went 1-5 last year in the division. They won 11 games. Their quarterback also got hurt week 1, which kind of threw them off. They have one of the best offensive coordinators in the league, who's their head coach in LaFleur. Their defense last year, getting Halfley from Boston College, was a top 5 unit in the league. And they got a lot of young players. I think the Packers are going to be a force to be reckoned with. I wouldn't be stunned if they were the number 1 overall seed.
Snap to Love, has time, lofts it, middle of the end zone for Dobbs, diving grab, touchdown! He's it down the right side, making it just catching it down, tiptoes into the end zone, a sensational touchdown, a desperation throw, Jordan Love to his good buddy.
Okay, welcome back, my friend.
How are we?
We're good. We're going to take this opportunity to talk a little NFC North and more specifically a little bit of Green Bay, Wisconsin Packers. What do you think about that?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's great. I have a lot to say about this team.
Yeah, I know you do. And we're going to be fucking around with a new format that's kind of more based on singularity topic-wise and a little less about like long form and division predictions and just kind of these long-winded things. I think you and I, we talked during the week about singular topics, and I kind of, this light bulb went off of like, let's just make videos about the topics that we're talking about during the week and stop making these long things. And man, we are in the dog days of summer right now, off-season wise.
I'm so glad camp is upon us because now we'll at least get something to like talk about, you know?
Yeah. And
like, who looks good, what rookies are standing out, what rookies aren't standing out, you know?
Yeah. Giving us time to react to kind of these things instead of sitting around and like doing rankings and doing predictions and stuff like that. And I think that's why I wanted to start here, because you and I are going to disagree on so many of these topics where I'll have a different opinion than you. I think you and I are seeing the same thing as it pertains to Green Bay. And because we're in this valley, this desert dick, just like dry thirst season of football right now, where everyone's kind of waiting for fantasy drafts to start and gambling to start. And like you said, camp, I'm just seeing a ton of Green Bay Packers winning the NFC North predictions. We saw it. Yeah, we saw it last year a little bit, but it's ramped up, I think, because people are sort of penciling in JJ McCarthy, Vikings step back, no Ben Johnson, Detroit step back. And you and I have been talking about this kind of throughout the week, so I wanted to make it kind of our first video of this style, of this series. Like, comment, subscribe if you guys like this, or if you don't. But I'm not a believer, and I don't think that you are either. And I wanted to give you the floor first because you were saying a lot in our text messages that really stuck out to me. I have a ton of opinions too, and I'll get to them. But where is it that you are? What are you circling with this team? Then you're looking at and going, I just don't see it. Like from your
okay.
lens.
So when I look at like the landscape of the entire division as a whole, when I look at the landscape of a team that is supposed to excite me, a potential Super Bowl team, yada yada yada, it's like, who am I supposed to be excited for when it comes to this team, right? Who gets my gears going? I can look at Detroit and I can go, well, damn, Amon-Ra and Penei Sewell and Aiden Hutchinson and Jahmyr Gibbs and you know, Jameson Williams and Jared Goff, and you can let Brian Branch and Kirby Jones, like you can rattle off a ton of them, you know. Same applies for the Vikings. I can look at that Vikings O-line and go, damn, that's a good O-line, you know. I can look at Justin Jefferson. I can look at Jordan Addison. I can look at, you know, even Aaron Jones in his twilight. I can look at you know, a couple of those guys on defense, particularly that D line. I can look at the Bears and go, all right, there's hope with Caleb Williams. You just drafted Loveland, you got Cole Kmet, you got Luther Burden and DJ Moore, and all these guys. You got Montez Sweat on the edge. You got the linebackers in that group. You got the what's his name, Jalen Johnson in the secondary. Like they're star players on every team except for the Packers. I don't like you have Josh Jacobs. He's good. He's really good. I would say he's a star, right? Like top 7 running back in the league, give or take. I don't believe Jordan Love is a star. I've never seen it. I don't know what you guys see in it. I don't see it at all. I think he's like light-skinned Trevor Lawrence. He's a little better. I don't know. He's never impressed me in any regard. You have no edges. The edges are not good. Rashawn Gary, you guys keep telling me he's a star. I don't see him as a star at all. I see him as like a good piece. Quay Walker, same thing. He's a good piece. He's not a star. Edgerrin Cooper, I keep hearing that name. He was a rookie last year. We'll see. I'm not going to hold my breath though. Secondary's a joke. It's a complete joke. And this is a tough division to have a joke secondary in. Xavier McKinney, he's a star. So, I walk away feeling like there's 3 stars on this team. And that's not cutting it for me when it comes to this division, when it comes to this conference. I don't, you went 1-6. You went 1-6 in division last year, and the only reason you won the one game is because it was a missed field goal, and it was Chicago. They suck. And as a Lions fan, I don't know if you guys watched Quarterback, but there's a whole Dan Campbell speech where they're about to play the Packers in the second game, and he's like, "Hey, offense, it's all on you. We have guys that were brought in off the street on literally on Monday, and here we are playing again. Like, we need our offense to win this game." And sure enough, we went and won that game. And at no point did I ever feel like we weren't going to win that game. And we had a defense. We had guys starting on defense who had been there for 4 days. That's a joke. I'm sorry. That's a joke. If you're the Packers, if I'm a Packers fan watching that, this team's a joke. And I'm not buying in at all. I think this is a 3rd place team all day, all night. And I'll die on that hill. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Hey, you can come laugh at me forever. But I just do not see it with this team at all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I gave you the floor, because I think everything that you were saying is spot on. I'm not going to follow it with that much heat. I'm going to kind of come in and attempt to devil's advocate some of these things.
Please.
But the thing is, I agree with you. When I actually lift up the hood and look at every element of this roster, I think for me it starts with this receiving room. We were sold such a bill of goods by Green Bay Nation, and this fan base has a lot of power in the football world. There's such a blue blood, and honestly, they're well run. Like I don't think this is a bad football team, and neither do you. It's just like through the lens of contendership, I find so many holes.
Look, I guess let me be clear. That's what we're talking about. This is not a bad team. This is not a bad team by any. If this team was in the AFC South, you're winning it all day.
Yeah,
you're winning it all day, all night. I'm not even thinking twice about it. It's going to be the Packers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally.
But in this division, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, and when we were harped on so much with this receiving group last year, what the result that we ended up getting really kind of, I think for me, was the straw that broke the camel's back of going, I'm out. And not only was I correct about, and were you correct about this team not having an elite receiving group, the coaching staff and the front office told you that we were in fact right by taking a wide receiver in the first round, which they haven't done when Aaron was there. They haven't done since Jordan Love's been the quarterback. This is the first time in years that I can recall seeing them go that high on a receiver, because they are desperate. Why are they desperate? Because they're trying to keep up with 3 teams that are more talented than them offensively right now. You can slice it any way you want. That's the reality. In no way is this team grew. You talked about the stars, right? Josh Jacobs, Xavier McKinney, Rashawn Gary. The problem I have with that specific take is that even within the confines of those guys being really great players, which they are, those are good football players, and you can build around those guys, those pieces. But just within the division, Jahmyr Gibbs is better than Josh Jacobs.
100%.
Aiden Hutchinson is a better edge than Rashawn Gary.
100%.
Listen, I bleed maize and blue. I'm a diehard Michigan fan. I watch both guys. It's not close. And
It's
then
not close.
at the safety position, I think Kirby Joseph in Detroit is better than
I think
than
Brian
Xavier
Branch is
McKinney.
better than Xavier McKinney.
Right,
Honest
and I'm
to
just
God,
giving
I do.
Lions players, but the same applies with Minnesota. When you come to the receiving room, I think Chicago has better depth offensively, minus the running back position, and so the path just isn't there for me. And I think for me, Jordan Love is so tricky because to me, he is the quintessential football definition of overrated. And he's overrated not because he sucks. He's overrated because he's overrated. And we've really
100%.
warped the term overrated to mean crap or shit or he sucks, he's a choker. I don't believe any of that. I think he's a good quarterback. I just don't think that he is in contention for the top 10 discussion right now on any level.
He's somewhere between 12 and 15.
100%. And
Where he is.
it's interesting. It's become so like we have 2 seasons of work now to kind of judge this guy. And I think what's really difficult for me is that I said this earlier to you when we were talking about this, but it's like a dartboard where every single part of the board has a dart on it when it comes to this guy's performances. I've seen him play horribly, more than once. I've seen him play elite more than once. Like the Dallas game in the playoffs, he played elite in that game. And it's I've seen him play stretches of mediocre football. And there's always an excuse, right? I think what's interesting for me is the 2 seasons put together, weeks 1 through 11, you have 32 touchdowns, 21 picks, and a low passer rating. And then weeks 12 through 18, you have 25 touchdowns, 1 pick, and a very high passer rating. So it seems like both years so far, he's had a really rough 10 to 11 weeks, followed by a great stretch of football at the end that is convincing us every year going into the following year that he's a superstar quarterback.
Totally.
And it's become so specific that there's even like memes on like Toyotathon being like the reason that he sucks. Like when Toyotathon ends, like he turns it on.
Dude.
But again, in this division at this time, that is not enough for me to hang my hat on of going, yeah, I've seen flashes. And I think as it pertains to Love, I'm asking something sincerely from the bottom of my heart to kind of Green Bay Nation, the people on social media who, run those accounts. Please stop with the Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre graphics with him also in it.
I swear.
I've had enough of that, man.
Those are 2 of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, and it's
know what I
just
mean?
not. He hasn't even had 1 season of those guys, those guys regular seasons. So
Not even close.
So, before I pass it back to you, I want to say I said last year we did a video on Matt LaFleur kind of being the most underrated coach. I think you've got a great play caller as your head coach. And what I saw from Jeff Hafley last year coming in as DC, he really improved that defense from what it was the year before. They were a lot more consistent last year. But when I look at how you got there last year running the football, Josh Jacobs has not a ton of tread left on those tires. He's getting up there. He's not old, but he's entering that zone. And if you look at what he's done every year, he has these big years with tons of usage, and then he struggles the next season. It's cyclical with him. So are you getting what you got last year with the 16, 17 touchdowns on the ground from him?
I don't believe so, no. Based on the data, no.
I don't either.
He might.
And none of these receivers, Christian Watson, that's done. We can end that conversation there. And then Jaden Reed struggled to get he didn't get 1,000 yards last year. Dontavian Wicks was horrible. So now we're also projecting Matthew Golden to be incredibly dynamic and consistent as a top wide receiver. And that's not his profile to me coming out of Texas. Like, he's not that guy yet. I think he's going to need some time to develop his game and get some size and get some play strength under his belt. So yeah, I'll be honest, man. I think this might be like the best third place team in football. But I think when it comes to the NFC North, you guys are on the outside looking in, to be honest.
Yeah.
And you better hope that Chicago doesn't take a step up.
I think the thing about LaFleur that's interesting, because I do like Matt LaFleur, and I did last year when we talked about him being the most underrated coach. I did agree at that point. now I'm kind of looking around the landscape of the North, and I'm going, well, shit. I mean, Kevin O'Connell's a really good play caller. You know, we know that Ben Johnson's a really good play designer, and we know that Dan Campbell is a really good play caller. So, you don't really have the edge anymore, in my opinion. You don't.
Well, and I think those guys that you named are building arsenals that, to me, are a little bit more impressive than Green Bay.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so too.
yeah.
The players, I mean, the players speak. You know, I've said this before in many of our podcasts, particularly pertaining to, you know, when we talk about like coordinators leaving and new coaching staffs and yada yada yada. And I always say, at what point do the players on the field matter? You know what I mean? Like, you get all these people. Like, look at last year when people said, "Oh, the Eagles lost their coordinators, like they're cooked," and it's like, well, what do you mean? They have AJ Brown and Saquon Barkley. They have Jalen Hurts and Jalen Carter. Like, what point do the players on the field matter? You know, the same applies to Detroit this offseason, right? Oh, they lost Ben Johnson and they lost Aaron Glenn. Okay, but did they lose Jahmyr Gibbs and Jared Goff? Did they lose Penei Sewell and Aiden Hutchinson? No. Like, the players on the field matter. So when I look at this roster, I go, this roster is kind of whatever. I'm not really like, I'm not wowed by it. I'm not floored by it. Like, I'm kind of like this. There's some really nice pieces here, but not nicer than Minnesota's, not nicer than Detroit's, and it might not even be nicer than Chicago's. And that's sacrilege because I hate Chicago and I think Chicago's fraudulent. But
yeah, I think those two are duking it out for fourth place this year. I think, I think so
too, man. I think so too.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, and we talked about this. This is a really, really, really tough division to have bad corners. Like,
it is. You can't.
The receiving talent in the NFC North is phenomenal, and you just mentioned the
God.
play calling is phenomenal. The offensive schemes are phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think we did a video last summer about how much Joe Shane sucks as the GM of the Giants, and a big part of that was letting Xavier McKinney walk, because you and I were both said this is a great signing for Green Bay, and he was excellent last year.
Yes, he was.
Yes, and shout out Xavier McKinney, right? And shout out Joe Shane getting fired this year. But can he cover the difference against these play callers and receivers? I don't see it.
I don't, because you look at like what we've done. If you look at Detroit, right? Like we went out and we got a DJ Reed. We drafted Terrion Arnold first round last year. We've reinvested in Kirby Joseph, who was also the other first team All Pro safety last year. We went and reinvested in Brian Branch, you know, and then we've brought in a guy like Amik Robinson. Like, we can't have enough cornerbacks and DBs in our system because of that, because we know we have to go against Justin Jefferson twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We know we have to go against DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. And we know that we have to go up against, you know, any given week, you're going to deal with somebody who's really good, you know, Jordan Addison or TJ Hawkinson. Like, I'm just not all that worried about Jaden Reed and Matthew Golden or Tucker Kraft. I'm just not. Like, I don't look at those guys and go, okay, wait, hold on. They're a real threat.
No, and stop telling me to.
No, 100%.
Stop telling me to.
Jaden Reed might bust off a big play, but outside of that, he's not doing shit. I mean, really, truly.
I mean, I said this last year. I'm a big Jaden Reed fan. I mean,
I like Jaden Reed too.
Yeah, but I think you and I like him more than their coaching staff likes him.
100%.
I mean, he was not a focal point of their offense last year, and he should have been in a time when they did not have, especially after Watson got hurt and they put and Dobbs missed again. It was a suspension or was an injury. Dobbs got in trouble for like practice stuff. He missed those games, and they threw Wicks in there.
That's right.
And Wicks was horrid. I mean, Wicks couldn't catch the ball. And once you had that evidence, I think Jaden Reed should have been a huge component of what you were doing offensively. And really what they did was they just leaned into Jacobs, and then they drafted a first-round receiver this year. So don't get mad at me about Jaden Reed. I like him more than your coach likes him.
100%.
So,
100%.
And again, I mean, I talked about the corners, but just to kind of circle back on the defense, people will use Minnesota as a reference point last year for how it's kind of okay to have like sus corners and still win games.
They had elite edges.
They did, and they also have Brian Flores. And as much as I will sing Jeff Hafley's praises for the job he did last year, because he really did improve this defense, you ain't Brian Flores, G. And I just don't think this front seven is dominant enough to cover the difference of that. So a lot of holes, a lot of issues, and I'm going 9-8 on the Packers. I think they're at third place, and yeah, and I think before we get out of here, I think why that matters and why we're talking about this is I think you and I have both noticed that the NFC is deepening, it's thickening, right? Pause. It's growing in that way that
Bro,
you
what are
can
you
now
talking about?
see multiple teams in every division where you go, I think that might be a playoff team. So this whole thing of like the NFC North perpetually putting in 3 to 4 teams every year, that's not happening. So if you finish 9-8, that might not cut it this year. And you can forget about the division. So you're fighting for a wild card in a conference that is becoming deeper every season. I have them missing the playoffs this year. Good team.
It's a hot take. They're not going to like it, but I'm backing you on it. I really
Yeah.
am. I think they're in for a little bit of a retooling, and they need it. I think they need to have some superstar. They need to have a little, like, they can't just keep coasting with this like kind of makeshift team. Like we saw last year. Like nobody in the division was scared of them. Not a soul. Minnesota kicked their ass, and we kicked their ass, and we kicked their ass with half a team. I mean, we came into your crib and we're Lambo leaping. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see week one. We'll see you week one. But I think we're gonna be walking away with a dub. You can't cover our guys.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams in the NFC North are going to be walking away with the dub. To be honest,
Yeah.
I just to me this is the definition of a team in purgatory. It's very Pittsburgh Steelers, and nobody
Yes,
puts
it
those
is.
two in the same basket. But to me, it's very similar. It's
Yeah.
you're not ready to make a push, in my opinion, but you're not bad enough to rebuild. So it's just you're kind of in this limbo where you're just not going to be the top dog until there's some dramatic drop off from the other two teams. And I'm not seeing that the next couple of years,
No.
frankly.
No.
But that's it, man. People are gonna hate comment this. I know people are gonna hate
Yes,
this so much,
okay,
but
okay.
it is what it is, man.
Alright.
It's not personal. I have a lot of respect for Green Bay, the fans, the organization. It's just I just don't think this team's real. I'm tired of hearing about how they are. So that's it.
Love it. I
Like,
love it.
comment, subscribe, or just leave us a hate comment. Whatever. It's all engagement. Thanks.
We'll take it. Peace.
Peace out. Yep.